We shall now discuss a little bit about what exactly is an operating system. An operating system is a very important or the most important system software. I'm not sure how clear this diagram is or how visible it is, but this is the hardware, this is the operating system, this is your application software, and this is your end user. So, a user accesses the hardware only through an operating system. So, let's first try to define what is an operating system. An operating system is a software which makes the hardware useful or usable to a end user. An operating system is also a manager of different hardware resources like CPU, memory, keyboard, mouse, and so on. It helps to resolve conflicts between, suppose two people are trying to print at the same time, it tries to sequence the printing. It sees that resources like CPU are optimally used. Say, for example, you're trying to delete a file which does not exist, that is an error. Such error messages are popped up by the operating system. Now, example of resources which an operating system manages are could be the CPU, your hard disk, and so on. You can also think of operating system in one or two ways. An operating system provides an interface to the hardware for the user. It is also considered to be a manager of resources, optimizing the use of resources, resolving conflict, popping out error messages, and optimizing their usage. Now, the operating system as a software must reside in the main memory. Only then you can use your computer. A software program called as the boot record loads your operating system once you switch on the power supply. Operating system is also responsible for communication between different devices which are interconnected to the computer, as well as different machines, as well as different hardware units. All of you remember an operating system if you think of examples. Examples of operating system are like Android OS, Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, and so on. So an operating system interacts with the hardware which is at the lowest layer. So any suppose the user says save a file while he's working on Word. The application software gives a request to an operating system. The operating system through a software called as device driver gets the file saved in the requisite hardware device. All right. So I hope this gives you a brief idea about what an operating system is. In the next video, I shall be talking about what are the different functions or what are the different things done by an operating system. Before we go to the next slide, let's take a look at what do you mean by the word linker and loader. Suppose I tell you to write a program to find area of a triangle using Hero's method. You will use a library function called as a square root to find the square root of a given number. Now, generally when we are writing program, we do not write code for every problem. For example, square root, finding the length of number of characters or length of a string as they call it, finding whether a character exists in a string, breaking down a string, calculating the sine of an angle, cosine of an angle. There is already pre-written code which is already in a object or machine form. So what we do is we write our own program, and then there is a software which takes our program and fuses it together to create one complete final program which we can run. Just my program is not going to be able to run because my program does not have the code for sine or square root. So a software called as a linker which will link my code with the code which is available in the code library. By linking these two codes or integrating these two codes, I am able to produce a single file which can be executed by me. So linker links programs created by different people into one complete program so that it can be run on a machine. Now, what is loader? Suppose I have created code A and code B. These are the two programs. Using linker, I link them and then pass on this to a software called as the loader. So the linking, after the work of linker is done in the main memory, the file is put back onto the hard disk or the secondary storage. Now it is the job of the loader to take this linked file and put it onto the main memory. So loader takes the file which has been linked and kept available on the secondary disk and puts it onto the main memory, and it gives control to the operating system to say go ahead and start executing this particular program. So the job of the loader is to take a linked program which resides on your hard disk, put it onto main memory, transfer control to the operating system at the first instruction, telling it go ahead and execute it. Code is taken, provided to the loader dumps it onto main memory and it executes the program. So I hope you understood what is a little bit about operating system, what is linker and loader. Once you go to engineering, all of these will be entire subjects. For now, just the conceptual knowledge is good enough.